What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day. So you are in for a very, very special treat today. As you guys know, we have been out at Fleece doing some videos for them, showing you guys everything inside and out. What a lot of people don't know is the racing engine side of Fleece called Freedom Racing Engine. So we are here today. We are going to give you guys a behind the scenes tour of anything and everything about the Freedom Racing Engine side of Fleece, kind of its own separate thing, handling all of the engine and high performance stuff. They do dabble in extremely high horsepower stuff on the car side, not just diesel side as well. So we're going to go over everything here and give you guys an inside look. So we are in the shop now at Freedom Racing Engines with Braden Fleece, the man himself. So we're going to go over just a little bit on the background of Freedom and then go from there. Greg, how are you? How's it going, man?
Not too bad. Hey, yeah, Freedom Racing Engines, everybody's got a lot of questions about, you know, okay, is it Fleece? Is it Freedom? What are they? Well, Freedom's a business that we bought going on 4 years ago now, when we moved over to this industrial park where pretty much it's called Nitro Alley. It's where all the top fuel teams are. Pretty cool neighborhood. We moved Fleece Performance over here from our little pole barn in a cornfield. There was an engine shop right across the street, so we're like, hey, maybe they'll do our machine work. And they said, yeah, as long as you guys clean those dirty diesels up, we'll do them, because they're used to working on, you know, top fuel, sprint cars, alcohol motors, all kinds of, you know, high-end street stuff. So
which still happens here as well.
It does. Yeah, you might catch some behind me, a lot of Duramax stuff, but nothing but top fuel over there. We're fixing DSR's blocks, we're fixing some of Force's blocks, and everybody in between. So yeah, we're kind of got everybody in the neighborhood, so that's good. But when we first moved over here, you know, we were in a growth phase. We started bringing more and more stuff over here, and it got to where we were over 50% of their volume just in our diesel stuff 5 years ago. Yep. So it kind of makes sense just to look at kind of buying them out and helping them grow, and the opportunity presented itself for us to buy the business, and so Chase and I did, and so it's owned by Chase and I, but it's a completely separate standalone business. We're just applying all the models and management style that we have, you know, that are working at Fleece Performance over here. I don't know whose block this is, I could look, but you kick a rod out, these things are designed to have a failure point, a window, and you know, it's a death match between the block and the rod, or what's left of a rod, and you won't want them to lose, you don't want them to fight to the death. So you'd see this one got hit, this one's intact and okay, but it's definitely got an indentation, and that carried down here into the jug some. But we will machine that out in our 4-axis machining center. Service-based business, the only way to get more work through the shop is to gain efficiency, work on your processes, and do a better job. And so we'll take this, set it in the 4th axis, which is like a rotisserie, and we can machine this to a standard little puzzle piece that once we're done with that operation, that puzzle piece slides in. It's got a radius that kind of interlocks it so that they fit together, and then it's already V'd out for the weld groove. So we've got you know, our chamfer, so we can fill that with weld and do a good job on it. But it greatly improves the process.
So one of the cool things that you guys are also doing, as well as taking some of this stuff that makes really a big power and implementing that into the diesel industry, with a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing now in the diesel stuff, right?
Yep. Previous owner has been in motorsports for 30-40 years. And we've got a couple of guys that are mentoring some of our younger staff, which is cool, and they've seen a lot of things, and we're applying a lot of the old hot rod theories that may not have trickled down into diesel. We're trying to, you know, use that as a fast track to apply to all of our engines, our diesel engines. But yeah, I mean, we've got an aluminum block that we've made. You'll see here in a minute. We're using a top fuel main stud on it, and we're trying to borrow some parts that are proven. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
When a block comes into the shop, or an engine comes into the shop, in whatever state, in a long block that we're disassembling and checking out, or in just a block like this. We have a job card that goes with it. No block goes through this shop without having some information about what's getting done to it, what they expect to be done to it, and it gets checked off at every stage of the process. So that could be 6, 7, 8 processes, and we're putting our feedback, all of our dimensions and stuff are getting recorded and put in the computer after they're on the card. So every step of the process is checked. But typically when the block comes in, we're going to take it down, check the job card, qualify it, see what needs to be done. If it's going to get bored, we're going to come over here to this boring machine. Now, there's kind of a fork in the road there. If it's going to get bored, like a top fuel block, something we've already developed an automated process for, it's going to go into the machining center, the big 4-axis Haas VF6 machine. If not, this is just more of a conventional boring machine that can bore and deck cylinders. We've got a little 4-cylinder here that looks like they may have done some boring work too. Once it's done with that process, if it's bored and decked, it can be bored and decked all in the same setup. If it's an inline motor, you've got to go bank to bank. But that guarantees you've got a true perpendicular bore to your deck. Then we would go over to a line bore to where we can line bore the mains. Cam journal is a big thing on the Cummins. Factory Cummins blocks don't have bushings through all 7 bearing journals. So we use this machine, and now this larger machine and a custom tool to put bearings, bushings in the Cummins block much quicker. More horsepower, more rigid bar, bigger diameter bar, and this new custom tool will greatly increase that process. We skipped a couple stations, but those would be after the fact processes. Crankshaft balancer, we've got a rod home, engine lathe over there for various things.
All right, guys, so we have John here from Freedom. You pretty much run the show, right? So we've got an engine here that's pretty much almost complete, correct?
It's just about there. Pretty much all we got to do is adjust the valves, throw a valve cover on it, hook it up on the dyno, fuel lines, things like that. But as far as the build goes, it's pretty well done right now.
Now all of the competition engines go on the engine dyno before they leave?
For the most part, yes. We typically like to run them on the dyno. It's a good safety net for leaks, just anything that might get you. But most of the time, customers want to make a number. We want to make sure that everything's up to snuff with what we're doing with the rest of our builds.
Right. So what is a rough power estimate on what this is going to come out of the engine dyno?
Well, we should like to see about 2,000 horsepower with a single 102 charger on it. So that's kind of what we're going to shoot for.
Awesome. So we are now with Chase Fleece, and he's going to go over just a little bit more on this engine in detail on some of the background of it.
So this intake manifold,
it's new. You guys just came out with this, right?
Yeah, we've been messing with it since UCC of last year, of 17. We've been running a Banks intake manifold, which for years it worked, but we felt there was a better mousetrap. So I've always felt that if we can get more equal air distribution to the cylinders, we're going to have just better EGT balance across the board. The pistons are going to be seeing, like I said, equal EGT. So instead of your center cylinders getting the most air and creating the most heat, it's just going to have a more balanced temperature across the board, which is going to make everything more, durable, more reliable, and it could equate to more horsepower. So, if you've got cylinder 1 and 6, way down on temperature, that's not a good thing to deal with. We've got a bunch of ports here for water injection, nitrous, boost sensors, whatever you want to put in. There's also a bunch on the bottom.
Right. All right, so on top of all of the competition stuff that you guys do on a normal basis, you guys do also handle day in, day out cylinder head jobs for everybody in between, correct? From stock to...
Yeah, which, there's the primary market is to take care of the street crowd, which that's our core market. So as you see, we've got 4 cylinder heads over here on the floor. They need to get taken through the process of getting cleaned up and gone through. We do that with the Cummins, the Duramax. We really don't mess with the power stroke market a whole lot, but deck the cylinder head right here on this machine. And then right behind you over here, this machine will do the valve job. Go through a guide and seat machine. And then our valve grinder's over there.
Now, John did say that you guys do try and keep some Cummins and Duramax heads in stock for the guy who, you know, wants a quick turnaround as well.
Yeah, at between Fleece and Freedom, we do keep heads on the shelf for customers. So if somebody needs something fairly quick, we can provide that.
So we did already ask John about the engine dyno room here, but Chase, you're the one who physically runs every single engine on the dyno, correct?
Yeah, I spend primarily most of my time.
Yeah. What is this thing? So is this is also built here?
Yes, this is the gas side of this. I don't know how much power this one's going to make. I think they're around the 600 horse mark, which is nothing crazy. But
oh, really? It looks like it's going to make a lot more than that, but
I think it's right around there. I think it's just pump gas motor.
Okay, okay. But all the diesels do get run on here. As you guys saw before, the little command center we got out here to make sure nobody when parts go flying if that happens. But so
yeah,
you got
this is a BTS engine dyno that's been converted to the Superblow software. We've absorbed up to 2,400 horsepower,
okay,
which is around 2,800 foot-pounds of torque at that RPM that we were running at. Hopefully, real soon I'll have that engine we were just talking about on here.
Yep. We've already been discussing my next trip out here, that hopefully once this one gets on the engine dyno, we're going to come back out, show you guys, you know, getting it hooked up, getting it tested, and again, like John was saying, really just to make sure it leaves here doing exactly what you want it to do. If anything happens, it's not happening in the customer's truck, it's happening here in your control.
Before it leaves my house, the key is to make sure that the engine runs as advertised, has good oil pressure, no bearing issues, anything like that. So that's why we run them ahead of time. Also, we retorque the head, adjust valves, just make sure that everything's going as planned. So the block pressure and everything.
So the engine's pretty much at that point drop-in ready. Yes. There's no retorque that you need to worry about. It's pretty much run it.
They can run it. We do recommend that after they've made a few passes that they go through and check the head torque again. And I'm very religious about adjusting valves. So, that's something I like to see. If it's a drag race vehicle, after every weekend I like to see them pop the valve cover off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just very important.
So from here you pretty much can monitor anything and everything, and
yeah, it's a pretty simple machine. It's got a torque cell over there. You see that white filter. It's right above that. That's what measures torque, and as the shaft spins, that monitors a certain amount of RPM, then they calculate how much horsepower it makes.
Okay.
But I do have a ton of data acquisition on this dyno where I can monitor, all kinds of pressure sensors, temperature sensors, all the EGT probes and everything like that, along with our EFI Live. So it's a very handy tool. Spent a lot of time on here in with the 3.0 smoothbore light limited pro class, what they call it, pro pulling league. We spend a lot of time on here to keep our customers ahead of the curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Just another tool to make sure, like you said, stay ahead of the pack. You can't. There's no guesswork.
Best torque wrench I own.
Yeah.
These technically are getting ready to get turned into 6.4 sleeve engines.
Okay, all of these right here.
These 267s. That's a 5-hour Haas VF6 50 taper machine. We can put in the machine here. They go through. Right now we are putting in the girdle in the bottom of the block. So the machine goes around and makes room for the girdle to sit down on top of the main caps and tie the whole bottom end together. When we bought this machine, its goal was to increase Freedom Racing and its productivity, and it did just that. So we bored cylinders on the block, decked the block on this machine. We can also machine it for the girdle, like you see here. We also thread some freeze plugs on the side of the block and do some other work on the side. As well as prepare for a deck plate. Also where we do all the sleeving process for the 6.4 sleeved engines as well as all the deck plate engines. This is also where the billet block is born.
Okay, gotcha. Right, gotcha. So Braden was telling us you guys used to do it on the stuff over there, and this is basically just cut down machine time, which just, you know, productivity and everything else down the line from that, this increases.
Simply automation.
Yep.
You know, we can program the machine, walk away from it, do something else, and you know, we can get stuff done still.
So this is now basically the Mac Daddy of the diesel racing industry's engine being born. We've talked about this a little bit before, but this is pretty much your baby, right?
Yeah. So obviously in the earlier episode you guys saw this block. We're a little further along now with the machine process. As you can see, the lifter galley right here, we can easily change the lifters. That's something that some of the competition didn't have an easy way to do that. So we thought that would be an ideal situation. Another thing that's really important is we'll be able to feed the main line with these other oil feed holes, so you have the ability to really put some oil to the bottom end of this engine.
Okay. And then these are all main cap support?
Yes, these are the side bolts for the mains. You can mount your engine off these.
Okay, so it gives you multiple mounting options.
Yeah. So obviously your sleeves will be Siamese and touch right there. Set up for 14mm head stud. Customer that's primarily going to be using these, that's what he wanted in there for his engine. We will have other options for bigger stud in the future.
Now you do have a second one sitting over there in much different state, right? Do you want to go over what that looks like? So hard to believe that this is the same exact thing, but where is this one in its life?
So it got roughed out, went to heat treat, and this is what it looks like when it comes back from heat treat.
A big stone.
Yes, and it goes straight from this. It'll look just like that block. The next
after the VF6 gets a hold of it,
and after that it will get you know, the stress taken out of it, and we'll be ready to run it.
Cool. That's so cool. You guys can't feel this, but it literally looks like a big stone. All right, so this is the clean room.
Yeah, engine assembly, and what you're looking at now is the start of a Fleece Freedom Stage 2 street engine. So this engine is a 6.7 engine with a factory 6.7 piston. It has a thermal top coating to you know, keep heat in the cylinder and keep it out of the piston. So this engine has a Carrillo HD connecting rod. So I've had very good luck out of Carrillo. Very high quality rod. I know they catch some flack from certain people, but I think they typically create their own problems.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna call you the last set of Carrillo rods in my engine. What he's saying, I would take for truth. What happened with my engine was not Carrillo's rod's fault. So just, I know you guys were gonna say that, but anyway. So this is after all of the processes, all of the machining, and we are now in assembly.
Yep, the crankshaft has been polished. If the crankshaft needed turned, it would get turned, in, as well as the main cap. What you see here, you know, a lot of people use studs, and we are not against a stud, but this is more of an economy built motor, and we use a hardened main dowel that goes right in there. You can't see it, but we use an ARP bolt. It's a 9/16 bolt, and these torque to 180 foot-pounds. And then the main line gets honed, and we feel like this is a great setup for the street market. Not everybody needs a girdle, not everybody needs a big stud in it. The bolts get the job done.
So is there a power level that you reach where you would X-nay that option and go up from there?
Yes, there is. And really it comes down to torque. And you know, if a customer told me, hey, I'm going to have a fairly small set of compounds on it and I'm going to tow a lot and I'm going to make tons of torque, we would probably move them into a girdle with you know main stud. We rate this engine at 1,200 horsepower, tire, and 2,000 foot-pounds of torque. So a lot of things play into that for us to stand behind that number. You know, you need to have proper tuning, good injectors, your turbo system. You know, if you've got a really small set of compounds, like I said, and you're lugging it really hard, you're asking for trouble.
Right.
And just to pan over here and look at the block, I can show you what's going to happen. If you make gobs of cylinder pressure, which creates torque, you're going to split this block in between this water jacket and this bolt hole right here, and even the steam port. But what happens, they split right here, all the way down through here, and the block just cracks over. Or it cracks in the cylinder in here, and sometimes it's really hard to see. But you'll start burning coolant, you'll be blowing coolant out the reservoir, and there's a few different signs. But
now is this O-ringed?
This is the actual fire ring groove.
Okay, okay.
Which we like to do the fire ring in the block as well as the head.
Focus. There we go. Okay, so fire ringed.
And
so even your street application is getting fire ringed.
Yes, high performance street. If
Yeah,
someone
high performance street. Yep.
Yeah, if you were
not low horsepower street, I guess you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If a customer came in with a let's say they had a truck that they towed with and they threw a rod outside of it because it was stock rod set up, we may not fire ring it if it's like 800 horse and down or 600 horse, and all they were doing was towing with it.
Yep.
And if that was the case, it would just be flat deck, flat head, good head stud.
So many uses, so many applications, so many different fuel and air setups that truly to get an engine built should be a phone call process to know exactly application and what you're doing.
Yeah, there's so many
build
steps.
from there.
It's very important to get some one-on-one with the customer, chat about what you're trying to do with the truck and its application.
Yep.
And we prefer to do it that way. We want to know what your goal is, what your every aspect of the build. But this, like I said, is the HD Carrillo. They added more meat in the beam, and Carrillo, they're just they've got a great name in the industry throughout the automotive industry. I mean, they build rods that come from factory and KTM dirt bikes to build rods for NASCAR. I mean, they've got their stuff together.
Alrighty guys, so there you have it, a in-depth look at Freedom Racing engines. They have you covered mild to wild. It's starting to rain out here. Mild to wild, even if you're just decking and checking ahead for a head gasket job, Duramax or Cummins. Usually stuff, like they said, is in stock, ready to go. They do have like stage 1, stage 2 stuff from like mild to wild. Obviously they got the wild down pretty good, but they do have you covered on the stock and mild part of that too. So go check out freedomracingengines.com. I'll put all their information down here, down in the description below. Don't hesitate to call John. He's a great dude. Be more than happy to spend some time with you, get something blueprinted out for you guys if you're into something extremely serious. Again, I've preached it before. Establishing relationships with great people. These guys are awesome. They are more than willing to help you with anything and everything that you may need engine wise. So again, go check them out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be seeing you guys very soon.